back at Oulton Park this time for a second track day in just over a week. Looking forward to seeing how today can compare to December. I think Brands Hatch was pretty much just a write-off really in terms of trying to learn the new suspension and anti-roll bars. It was way too slippy. I haven't actually edited the footage yet, but I dread to think what the lap time was in comparison to the Civic. Obviously it's not all about lap times, it's about general feel, and it didn't feel good. So we're back at a more familiar track, Oulton Park. I've done I think 4 track days in the Supra at Oulton. And a few in the Civic as well, I think 2 or 3 maybe in the Civic, so it's a track that I'm really familiar with. Today, weather-wise, is a lot better than what we were dealing with at Brands Hatch. It was actually -1 degrees at Brands Hatch, and it's not a huge amount different this time. We're at 2 degrees there, as you can probably see, so not hugely warmer, but enough that it's not icy outside. And I've just done the sighting laps, and it definitely feels a lot grippier than Brands Hatch did all day. So hopefully that's kind of replicated at full speed. Now, as I said, I wasn't really able to give a proper review on the new BC Racing Coilovers and the Whiffbits anti-roll bars because the track conditions were so poor the other day. But in terms of general road driving, they are actually a lot better than I thought they would be. I thought they were going to be quite firm and rigid and just make the ride really uncomfortable and less of a sort of Grand Tourer, more of a sports car. And there is certainly an element to that. They are definitely firmer, I can feel it, but nowhere near as firm as I thought they'd be. The slight annoyance is with my ride height and my exhausts hanging down a little bit. They've tried tying it up a couple of times with like a heavy duty cable tie, but I think I need proper exhaust rubbers on there. My exhaust does scrape a little bit, and there's still a tiny bit of scrubbing, which you can probably hear in the videos at Brands Hatch itself. I'm not too concerned about that because that is a real extreme moment of compression, so if we have a little bit of scrubbing there, not too concerned. But what I am really interested to see is if it does it at all around Oulton Park, which is obviously a regular circuit of mine. So let's go take the car out, have a little drive and see how it's doing. Cheers, mate. So first few laps done. It's actually a lot better than I thought it would be, even though it's only what 2 or 3 degrees here, trying to get run over by a Mini. I'm actually really surprised at how much grip there is. Coming into the sort of second to last corner, just before the back straight, it's slippy there, so I'm getting that lack of turning that I had at Brantach. It was a real struggle. And there's a bit of grass there on the track, so I think someone's come off there at some point. Highlight of that session though was playing around with a Caterham. So I just had a quick chat with Paul, who was driving the Caterham, and yeah, it was great because we were very evenly matched. Only a 1.6 Caterham with a 140 brake or whatever it is, but because it weighs about half the amount of my car, we're very, very similar on track, which is really interesting. So yeah, I was just having a good chat with him about how he's finding it. He's on wets at the moment, so I think he's going to change to the semi-slicks or slicks or whatever he's got, presumably semi-slicks. And he did also say that he'd take me out for a drive, so hopefully that happens because I'm really keen. I've never been in a Caterham before, an open top car like that, so that'll be exciting to passenger in that. Now, as I was saying, when I got the suspension done originally, I wanted to try and break that 2-minute barrier. I think that is going to be a bit of a struggle in the winter to beat that 2-minute barrier. I'm currently at 2 minutes 5 seconds. That was my best lap time from December, I think it was. So getting that extra 5 seconds is going to be quite difficult, especially on a greasy track like this. So hopefully it dries up a little bit more. There's loads and loads of cars going by, as you can hear and see behind me. So hopefully we can get that 5 seconds at some point today. Just before I go back out again, one thing I did have to mention is that you may have noticed in some of the very early laps that my sort of warning light was coming on in the dashboard. I believe that is to do with the brake fluid level. It looks fine, the actual level itself, but I've had it before where the level itself looks fine and then you top it up and that warning notice sort of goes away, and it's under sort of, I don't know, I guess like when you're turning and the fluid itself sort of swirls around and the level doesn't read correctly. I'm not too concerned about it, but I will have to keep an eye on that and hope that we're all good for the rest of the day. I just need to top up the fluid, I'm pretty sure. I don't actually have any fluid with me, but it does seem to be braking fine though, so I'll be definitely keeping an eye on it just in case. Okay, so it's just been raining a fair bit, so it's going to be slippery out there. I thought maybe the track would be drying out throughout the day, but it's actually getting wetter, if anything.
Drying up with these NS's now. Oh, listen to that!
It's good, isn't it?
Oh! Fucking hell! Fucking hell! It loves the revs, doesn't it? It loves the revs.
Yeah, it really does.
Wow! Gosh, your handles quite well, doesn't it?
It's alright actually, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it loves the revs.
Yeah, it really does.
Listen to it sing. Woo-hoo-hoo. Fucking hell. Gosh, you know what? They look such a small car from outside, but it feels quite big. It's still really slippy there, isn't it? It's notoriously slippy there. Oh!
Well, we're about halfway through the day now. Definitely drying out the track, which is great. Getting more and more speed, building more and more speed in here. I don't think I'm going to get near that magical 2 minute mark that I really want to get. I don't think I'm going to get that today. The track's just not drying out quite enough. But what I do want to talk about is we've just been for a drive in this Caterham here. So I just passengered Paul, who was driving it. Lovely chap. And my, what an experience that is, being in a Caterham. I can highly recommend it to anyone if they are thinking of doing like an experience day or anything like that, or if they know someone with a Caterham, to just go and have a drive and experience it. It's such a raw, visceral experience. All the wind is around you, you can feel everything, you're so low to the ground, you know, the turn in is just instant, going over the curbs, you feel everything. And wow, what an amazing experience that is. Yeah, I loved it. I had to honestly fold myself into it, and I've definitely put on a bit of weight since I've hit my 30s, but I'm not a big guy, and yeah, I really had to fold myself into it. But yeah, incredible experience. He did say, let me have a drive of it, but yeah, I don't know. I always feel a bit nervous driving someone else's car, especially around a racetrack. But yeah, you bend it, you buy it is basically the deal. I also went for a quick passenger ride in a couple of Mini Coopers. So one was a Mini Cooper and one was a Mini Cooper S. They were great fun actually. Just again, just another different feeling altogether. Just feel really tight and nimble, nippy. You know, it's a completely different experience to the Supra, which is a completely different experience to the Caterham. And that's the great thing about these track days, is every car handles everything a little bit differently. I feel like I can talk a little bit more about the suspension now, and to be brutally honest, I don't notice a huge amount of difference going around the track. It has almost solved the scrubbing. If I'm by myself, it scrubs at 1, maybe 2 parts of the corner, but nowhere near as bad as it did before. And that was, I guess, kind of the main thing that I wanted to do, is be able to drop the ride height that little bit, which we have done, and then not have the scrubbing. So we're nearly there on the scrubbing, but to be honest, I think I'm actually just happy with it how it is now. I think there's a lot more we can do in terms of messing around with cambers and stuff, get that lower arm fixed because it's a little bit bent, so it's stopping us from getting a full geo on it. And I think when we get that geo done at some point, that is going to be the real game changer. But anyway, still plenty more left in the day, so let's try and get a few more laps in. So Paul has very kindly said that I can have a go of this bad boy, this Caterham. Very, very excited about this. A little bit nervous because it's obviously very different to something I've driven before, but not to toot my own horn, but he did say that the only reason he's letting me have a go is because I was sticking with him in the first few laps. So yeah, I will record that on the GoPro. I won't record me trying to get into this thing, because you very much have to climb in to it, but yeah, wish me luck. My word, what an experience that was. Unbelievable to drive that thing around the track. There's nothing quite like it, nothing that I've ever driven that's quite like that. The gearbox is so tight, it's just everything's right there, the steering wheel's tiny. As I said before, the feeling is just so sort of visceral. You feel every single bump and undulation, but my God, does it fly. Hopefully the GoPro footage gives it some sort of justice. It probably won't, to be fair, but wow, unbelievable. Thanks so much to Paul for giving me a ride in that. Not only just passengering, but just trusting me with his pride and joy to let me take it out and about on the track. So yeah, incredible. The day is done. I think it's just about time to wrap everything up. It definitely dried out towards the end. I still don't think we got anywhere near that 2-minute mark, but I won't know until I've reviewed the footage and checked every single lap time, which is quite a time-consuming experience, as you can imagine. But yeah, it's been a great day actually, much more successful than Brands Hatch. I think maybe I was a little bit harsh before when I was saying I don't notice a huge amount of difference in the coilovers. It's hard to say now because I have done that other track day since then, so maybe I'm a little more used to it. I think it does corner a little bit flatter, and especially I think I notice it a bit more in the faster corners, more so than the slower ones. And yeah, the main thing is that I'm not getting anywhere near as much scrubbing. There's still a little bit, but I'm not getting anywhere near as much scrubbing as I was before. I also want to give a big thank you to Justin, a chap with the Mini, who has filmed some clips for me. That was really, really helpful, because last time when I did the Brands Hatch, I didn't get any flybys because I wasn't ballsy enough to go and speak to anyone. So yeah, thanks so much to Justin for filming those bits for me. Very, very useful. I did mention it before, but the next step is to try and get that lower arm sorted out. It's a little bit bent, so once I get that lower arm sorted and a proper geo done on the car, I think we can then properly strive for that 2-minute mark. Yeah, we'll get there someday, I'm sure. If it needs more power, it needs more power. But that is about it for today. I've still not quite got over the Caterham drive. I've literally just got out of the car now, so I'm still buzzing from it. But yeah, thank you again to Paul for letting me have a drive of that. Thank you for Justin for getting all the footage for me. And thank you guys for watching. So subscribe if you want to subscribe and see some more videos. If you don't, then don't bother. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.